This is the Whirlyturbulator, built by i3 Detroit, and starting in the back, it's really hard to make out the device because the background is so busy in this area, and unfortunately the noise level is really high. So what you're seeing, pretty strange looking group of machinery here. That is 3 of our spinners, and on the next level we have an additional 2. These are driven by drill motors, AC drill motors. Turns out you need cheap AC power. 30 bucks gets you about 1/3 to 1/2 horsepower in a drill motor. Not going to beat that pretty much any other way that we found. So we had to gear that down. And that regard brought up the need for V-belts and pulleys. If you're an out-of-towner buying this stuff wholesale or retail, not cheap. That was part of our problem, is sourcing all this stuff. You can see double pillow block bearings in the back, holding each of the large pulleys. V-belt, driven by the small pulley. The drill motor. At this time, we control the speed of the motor remotely. And we control whether or not the tube sings by using this cord that moves an actuator that opens or closes the end of the hose. If the end of the hose is closed, as in the default state, it doesn't sing, it just spins. If you open the actuator, the end of the tube is open, it functions as a whirly tube. It makes a really nice sound that jumps through various ranges as you speed up and slow down. It's an interesting concept, and sound I should say. We got 5 of those going. Again, I'm sorry about the busy background, hard to pick out the machine here. But let's give you a sense of a scale. 85 inches high before we put the sign on. Almost that wide. 5 units driven by 1/3 to 1/2 horsepower. Needless to say, this thing can get shaken. Started out by showing our control scheme. Each station or each machine has 2 cords that come down, again to control the speed of the motor and whether or not it's sounding at the time. And there's obviously different control systems that we might be able to adapt in the future a little prettier than this. Hey Matt, you want to go play one real quick?
Yeah, sure. Which one's the best? This one, I think?
I believe so, yep. This one sings really well, really easily. As you can see, it's a long tube. You'll notice the end gets extended out, and that's key. The tip velocity is able to bring the intake of air. So listen for this high-pitched tone. So the tone jumps on the octaves based on the total flow of air. And they can be tuned to a degree, and it produces a really interesting sound. Not too many other instruments do anything like that. So that is the Whirlyturbulator, and we'll get some more pictures when it's in the clear and you don't have such a busy background, so it's easier to pick out the machine.